Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for round 2 of the Singapore Sevens. This game is crucial for these two sides. New Zealand versus Argentina, both losing their first round fixtures, and currently the score between France and Australia is heavily in favour of the French, which does mean the door is now open. For whoever wins this game, they still have a great chance making it through to the semi-finals. Looking through at the starting lineups. First of all, for Los Pumas, it will be Zangara, Graziano, Santiago Alvarez, Santiago Mari, Luciano Gonzalez, Pedro Dajaro, and also Santiago Verafeld. So no Marcos Moneta in the starting lineup here for the Argentines. Instead, he will be making his way off the bench alongside Joaquin Palladini as well. Looking through at New Zealand's starting side, it is Rob Rush, Kitioni Vai, so he did not start in the first match up against the French. Tony Nashu, Regan Ware comes into the starting side, Brady Rush, Akulia Rokalisoa, and also Frank Vainuku. So actually quite a few changes for New Zealand in this contest as well. It's all about rotation in this competition, and if you can get it right, whoever wins this game, like I said, they have a great chance of going deep in this competition, relying on the fact that either New Zealand have to beat Australia in their game later on, or Argentina would have to pull off the win up against the French, which is looking relatively challenging as they look like they've just scored themselves another try here, France, which will give them a hefty old lead up against the Australians as well. But looking through at the upcoming fixtures as well, we do have the match between Fiji up against the Spanish, and then also South Africa versus Great Britain. Two crucial games in that side of the group, as Fiji and South Africa, they are looking like top in the pool, unless could see an upset. But of course, do let me know who you think will be winning this contest. New Zealand, like I said, there's rotation there, so the guys did start the last match, such as a Manson and a Natoa Tipo, and still will be making their way off of the bench. And interestingly, Moneta is not starting. Yeah, it's a big surprise because he seems to be that guy that can just bring an impact from the very first kickoff. But at the same time, maybe they're trying to save him a little bit. He had a pretty tough game in the first matchup up against Australia. He was shut down pretty well. So yeah, they might be just looking to ease him into it a little bit more. Hey, dude, are you going to Friday morning Six Nations game? Or going to do it? I assume that is on the channel, considering it's 9:10 a.m. I will be doing that match on the channel with a little bit of luck. But yeah, an earlier start to the Six Nations. Normally it would be a Saturday morning game or somewhere around there here in New Zealand, but actually Friday morning due to the earlier start. I know that it's split opinions in terms of whether people are happy with it or not. The other games still taking place at that kind of normal time for us here in New Zealand. But the end of that match between France and Australia, France, big win for themselves. So they will currently sit as top in this group, which now opens up the opportunity for whoever wins this game. As long as they win it by more than 7, it stops your opposition getting that chance of that bonus point. All the best to both teams, says Arvin there. So at this stage, that's a yes. Correct, yes. We lose with or without Moneta at this point, says Katzenell. Yeah, it was a tough game up against the Aussies, and I do think that Australia probably played, of course we haven't seen them play New Zealand yet, but I would say with the way that they played up against Argentina, they probably played their best game of the tournament right from the get-go. Argentina are a bit of a slow burner, and if they can get past New Zealand here, I have no doubts whatsoever that they will fully challenge the French in their third matchup. So it's a pretty important little patch for the Argentines, because if they can score 4 tries in this game, I think it would be enough they'll get through. They're currently ranked 6th, which is unfamiliar territory for this Los Pumas side. They are used to being right near the top of the bunch. They are the champions of last year in terms of the regular season points. Now, need some big wins all in a row to compete here in Singapore. And I will mention Perth Sevens are just around the corner. Going to be taking place next week, so plenty of opportunity for a bounce back from these sides that maybe are following a little bit more in this competition than they'd like to be, rather than setting the pace. We got there from Distracted Sports. Happy New Year, my dude. I'd rather be watching cricket at this time of year, says Distracted Sports. Are you going to be getting up at 2:30 a.m. for that game between Black Caps and India, Tony? Or because of the series being gone, are you going to sleep and then maybe watch the... What happened there? I think an Argentine player just tripped over on his way out onto the field. I am going to have to reverse just for a second here. Did he fall? Oh, no, he might have done a roly-poly. Yeah, no, he did a roly-poly. He didn't fall on his face. No, I will not either way, says Tony there. It's probably a good call. Definitely with the T20 schedule that is coming up. A lot of random hour games taking place in that competition. Don't forget T20 World Cup starts soon, says Kiwi Rob. Which cricket team do you think is scared to face Lockie Ferguson? I think the only person that is probably scared of Lockie Ferguson at the moment is Lockie Ferguson. Because once again, if he gets injured, he's no good to them. But if he can last the whole tournament without an injury, he'll be a very handy player. But I just don't trust the bloke. I feel like he's going to end up injured in very quick succession. But that one's going to be kicked out on the full by New Zealand. A bit of an early mistake being made by this New Zealand Sevens side. Just like I am having mistakes trying to update the scoreboard. There we go. Hamish and France just beat Australia. They did, and they beat them by a pretty decent margin in that contest. So France well and truly sitting as the number one side now in this group. One moment, I'm about to sneeze again, so I'll very quickly mute. We are good. But yeah, big win for the French, and they sit comfortably in this group. And in fact, I'd say that they're probably going to go through to the next stage unless something really drastic happens in their game up against the Argentines. That is the one way it could be a bit interesting. Currently on the halfway line, the possession in favour of the Pumas. Graziano trying to pierce around the side of the breakdown, gives it off to Luciano Gonzalez, was under a lot of pressure, but gets the fend away on a Kulia Rocaliso. Breaks through Brady Rush's tackle. Big tip tackle coming there from the Kiwis. Got to be careful doing that. Ball on the outside for the Argentines. One more pass into the hands of the winger. This should be a try for Zangara, and it will be. And the Pumas, much better start to this contest. That just looked like the normal Pumas type of performance. I forgot you won't be working Friday due to Waitangi Day, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, it does make it a lot easier to be free for that game. But 5-0 at the moment, the way that it is sitting. It's a great start to the match for the Argentines. If Ben Stokes played for the Black Caps, says Peps Walks. And also we go over there, Hamish Sevens 2 prepping so well here. And Kenya, we bring the noise. I still am really disappointed that they kicked Kenya off the main circuit. Like, they worked so hard to get back into the top 12, and then they said, oh, by the way, we're cutting it down to 8 teams again, which then meant that Kenya missed out. But that is the reason that there's so many empty seats in these stadiums, is because the thousands of Kenyans who go to support their side aren't there. So, like, surely it's actually hurt the bank budget or the bank account for World Rugby. They talked about how they had it for financial reasons, that they had to cut out a few sides, but like any time that Kenya were playing, the crowd just made the stadium shake. 2.5 minutes gone in this first half. Run here from Rob Rush, rocking the mullet at the moment, but he hasn't rocked that offload, going straight into the hands of Graziano, who's passed it back to Gonzalez again. 2-man tackle. Rob Rush just trying to slap that ball out of his hands. But Argentina, another offload. This is great work from Los Pumas. They move closer and closer to their 22, but still keeping plenty of space on the outside. Come on, New Zealand, WF, you doing? Says Jasmine. Big 2-man tackle there from the Kiwis. Tony Nashu, bit of a counter-right, but it's gone back to Luciano Gonzalez. Now another step from Alvarez. Another offload. This is something that Argentina maybe didn't do enough in their first game up against the Australians, or it was more so that Australia were reading it quite nicely. Low tackle made on Daharo. One of the younger players out there for the Argentines. Nice step. Oh, that looked a bit high from Brady Rush. Possession still on the side of the Pumas. Akulia Rocalisoa. He did have a good counter-right, but then from there grabbed the ball and swatted it backwards, so the penalty does go against him. It's a big opportunity for Argentina, seeing as they weren't really going hugely forward. Let's go New Zealand. But don't win. I want Fiji to win this tournament, says Brandon. And also, I was going to the USA for the Soccer World Cup. I feel more scared than going to Pakistan, says Katsanel. And also, come on, New Zealand, what are you doing, says Jasmine. Yeah, they are giving away early penalties, which has given the opportunity to Argentina to get a really strong attack going. And they have already scored once. They did miss the conversion, though. Means this game could go down to the wire. Santiago Alvarez claims the line out. Now looping around play. That's nice from the Pumas. Going out wide. It should be their second try, and it will be. And Santiago Verafeld, I think he was asking for a penalty after getting hit late after scoring, but it is going to be the second one for Argentina now. They're playing a good game of rugby. Like I mentioned, their game up against Australia, they looked a little bit flat. But now it doesn't look like they're going to slow down here up against New Zealand. And hard for me to say I'm new, says Brandon. And you should try Nando's in New Zealand. I heard Nando's is really a buzzing fast food. Buzzing's a cool word that I feel like I'm too old to say. They also say bussin'. That's the one that the kids were saying at one stage. Bull bags, says Tony. That's also one that the people have been saying. But I think I've had Nando's, but I had chips. I didn't have any chicken from Nando's. I literally just got the fries. And this was like probably a decade and a half ago. Maybe less than that. I can't remember. But yeah, I have to try some chicken at some point. I do enjoy a bit of chicken. Nice run forward from Kitione Vai. Back across to the right-hand side. New Zealand now in a little bit of possession. Moving up towards the halfway line. Big slamming tackle on Frank Vainuku. Pick and go from Rob Rush. Almost got through, but it's once again brilliant defence from the Argentine. Santiago Mari in the breakdown. Can't get the turnover. Now put in the gap, or at least pinning the ears back through the gap for Tony Nashu, and he's gone through, and New Zealand will get themselves a try with 1 minute left in the first half. We'll go like that. We'll go like that. It will add the additional 2 points too, as it is straight out in front of the post. I may take that back. New Zealand, you're not very good. Go home, says Jasmine. And that coming from New Zealand. But Hamish, no, I always love Fiji. Also, I'm not new. I think I'm OG now. You certainly are an OG, Brandon. You should get into, you should be in a KFC working employee suit and do a KFC ASMR during a live stream. I think George would be keen. If I told him, hey, George, come over, we'll eat KFC chicken on a live stream, he would do it. You should also do a 16-hour stream. I think what we should do is we should both have to eat 20 pieces of hot and spicy boneless and then stream for 16 hours after. And see who breaks first, because that would be torture. Go Argentina, says Romero there. And Kiwis looking rusty. Yeah, it seems like Argentina took one game to find their rhythm. New Zealand, to be fair, in the last couple of minutes, they have started to look a little bit more like the New Zealand of old. Ball stolen by Tony Nashu. Well, trying to steal that one, and the breakdown was Luciano Gonzalez and manages to win it. I also see Marcos Maneta has made his way onto the field. I'm turning into a grumpy old woman, says Jasmine. Same. Now kicking this one towards the touchline for the Argentines. In fact, no, they're going to take on the scrum now. They are only sitting about 35 metres out from their line. At this current point in time, Maneta looks like he's going to be feeding that one in. I bet you Kiwi lad Argentina will win this game. I think they got a very decent chance to. They are currently sitting second in the overall standings. France are at the top of the bunch. They are with 6 points. Whoever was to win this game will move into second more than likely with their points differential. Now going off to the left-hand side, another attacking chance for the Pumas. Luciano Gonzalez puts the fend on Frank Vainuku, gets round him. Kulia Rockily, so a great pressure in the breakdown. There's a knock on. And that is going to make it halftime now between these two sides. The score sits 7 points to 10. Argentina with that slight lead there. Is the rookie. I'm not sure how the first part joins in. Hemi. I get the last name, but what's the first name part of it? In this place called Electric Talent, a chug a liter of vodka just before streaming. That would also be a very interesting stream. Maybe one day. See, the biggest problem is it sounds like something you'd do for like a birthday stream, but normally for my birthday, it's normally during a sevens weekend. So then I've got like 15 hours of streaming to do. So you'd have to do it strategically. Tractor Sports hasn't changed. No, he's always Tony, but we love him for it. They're trying to sell me tickets to the Sale GP. It's a little bit up north, but if I was going to go to it, I'd have to swing by Tony's house. Of course, invited rather than just showing up. Moneta is the best rugby sevens player in the world with Luciano Gonzalez. Yeah. Gonzalez is insane in the breakdowns, which I do think this is controversial, right? Marcos Moneta has so much X factor and is an out-and-out brilliant back. Luciano Gonzalez, I think, I don't know who I'd pick if I was only allowed one of them in my team, but the way that Luciano Gonzalez can win turnovers in the breakdowns as well, and that physical ball running, I feel like he, as an all-round player, maybe has that edge, which is once again crazy to say, but just because of that, the way that he can combine defense and offense, and just as a beast of an individual. New Zealand, please score first, says Jasmine. Hamish, are you in a seafood diet? I don't have a lot of seafood. I have fish if it's battered, but outside of that, I'm not really a seafood man. Oh, nice take there from New Zealand under the high ball. Kulia Rokalisoa got caught in a bit of friendly fire there as the man came down. Ben Farah, I haven't changed too, so I can't talk, says Brandon. Now on the short side, Rob Rush passes it. One more to Frank Vainuku. This is going to be a foot race. And at the moment, the Kiwi is winning it down the wing, but there goes Marcos Moneta to be able to stop him 5 metres out from the try line. New Zealand, though, they have numbers to the left-hand side. Goes through the hands of Akulia Rokalisoa. The attack's still on. Passes one more on the outside for Tony Nashu. Now, big fend there from Regan Ware. He'll be dragged down 1 metre short. That's so cynical from Argentina. Probably lucky for Graziano not to get sent to the bin for 2 minutes for just jumping in off his feet and into the breakdown lobby pass from New Zealand. Picked up by Akulia Rokalisoa. Now looking to sneak his way through. Rokalisoa goes on the outside to Frank Vainuku for the corner. It's going to be a check, I would think. Whether or not Gonzalez has pushed him into touch or Vainuku has kept himself up off the touch line. Hamish, is your vision good despite having less sleep? Nah, I've got terrible eyes. I probably should have glasses. Oh, that's a great Superman dive from Vainuku. And tell you what, it might be good unless that ball's touching the sideline. I think it's all right, though. For Frank Vainuku, this angle is hopefully going to show us it. I think that's good. They're going to award the try, and New Zealand now will take the lead in this contest. A fantastic finish from Frank Vainuku. Looks like he's hurt his arm in the process, which is probably understandable because he slammed it very hard on the turf. But New Zealand, for the first time in this game, now will take the lead. Sexy Eyes was an old school song. What's up, hamster? Says Sock. Sexy Eyes. Have I heard the song Sexy Eyes? I don't think I have. Who sung it? This is going to test whether or not I have any knowledge of old songs. I see food and eat, probably why I am 300 kgs, says Jasmine. Now, Los Pumas will be the next world champions. I think if they play like they did last year and the year prior, they can beat absolutely anyone on the Seven Circuit. I think that they've had a little bit of inconsistency this year, or this competition, in terms of the last few leagues, but they're still right up there in terms of points. New Zealand have got that kick over as well. That is a crucial additional 2. It's going to make the score now 14 points to 10 with 5 minutes left on the clock. Going up for it and trying to retain was New Zealand, but Alvarez ball pops straight up into his grasp. Palandini, he has made his way off the bench. That's a high shot from Akulia Rokalisoa, and it's going to be a yellow card for him too. Caught him high. I don't think he was expecting that yellow card for Rokalisoa. Dr. Hook sung it. Okay, I've never heard of Dr. Hook, unfortunately. As Manson cooking, I don't know if he's made his way onto the field yet. He did get to start the last game, but I don't think they made that switch just yet. I'm back and believe in my boys will win Super Rugby this year, says Highlanders fan. They got a decent squad. Hopefully they can get off to a good start. Now Palandini ready to throw this one in. 90 seconds remaining of that yellow card. That is one benefit at the moment for the New Zealanders. A lot of time was used up getting that line out set. Here comes Palandini again. Almost tackled by Regan Ware, but manages to bump through it before being dragged down by Brady Rush. An offside advantage now against New Zealand. Their ill discipline could end up costing them here. Kicked him behind. Graziano goes to Marcos Manera. He was never going to lose that foot race, and Argentina score themselves another try. And they take the lead back with the 4 minutes remaining. That man advantage has come in clutch for this Pumas team. They now sit 15-14 up. A few stag boys in the Sevens team. Says Highlanders. I don't really have a goal for YouTube in 2026. Got any requests for me, Amish? As in like a goal? Don't know. I don't really know what my goals are for YouTube this year. I think it's just make it to the end of the year still doing something on the channel. That's the main goal there. But for yourself, I think I remember you said a couple weeks ago you're on about 300 subs, so you could aim for 500 if you get in that direction. Marcos Manera now moves up to the third. Oh, he is still third, I should say, for all-time Argentine try scorers. Luciano Gonzalez, he is currently 3 ahead of him with 169. Dylan Pledger, yeah, very sad news for the Highlanders losing him. 3.5 minutes remaining. Akulia Roca-Lesoa still off the field for another 30 seconds. Argentina, one's going to be slapped into touch. So New Zealand are now going to try and use this one quickly. And in fact, they do go into Brady Rush. That looked like a forward pass down the short side. I'm not too sure about that from the Kiwis, but it looks like it's going to lead to a try. And Kitione Vai, he will score it. That did look a little bit forward though. In the transition, they decided to take it quickly. Love to see a replay, but I think New Zealand may have just snuck one. Very flat is what we will call that one. And it's going to be the try for Kitione Vai. New Zealand take the lead back now. Any 2020 World Cup stream plans? Not yet. I'm not sure what to do in terms of whether or not to try and cover it, because I know that any time we've tried cricket in the past, we normally get a copyright strike, which is very annoying. And it also means that we're banned for a couple of weeks until we can get it removed. So maybe on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, we may have to make a bit of a revival of that channel. Or something maybe. And Vai as well says, Dame set match here. It's a great run from the big man on the short side. That kick is missed, making the score 19 points to 15. It is still close enough that either of these teams have more than enough ability of being able to win this contest. And I'm from Argentina, and we all trusted our team. I think we could be next champions, says Ramiro. Yeah, I do think that as an all-round squad, Argentina have been very strong for a long time. You know, you look at the guys who are making their way off the bench, and they are just as strong as the guys in the starting lineup. And there were concerns that once someone like a Gaston Ravol was gone from the setup, that they would struggle, but it just wasn't the case. I think that the young guys are actually the ones who have made this team even stronger for Argentina. And then you've still got those veterans of the team who just score tries for fun. Someone like a Graziano, you know, he was making his debut, I think, last year or the year prior, and he's now become a bit of a mainstay. There's no Hermain Schultz out there on the field at the moment for them, but that hasn't seemed to affect the way that they play, as Alvarez has really come into that role as a big forward as well. This is devastating. I'm going to sleep, says Katzenel. Although 100 seconds remaining, there is half a chance that Argentina can come back into this contest. If they are strategic, they're currently on attack, sitting 40 metres out from New Zealand's line. That was an awkward, crunching tackle on Luciano Gonzalez. Hit him round the hip. But now off to the right-hand side again. Here comes the step from Graziano. Trying to fend off Scott Gregory. It's actually going to be Akulia Roca-Lesoa who tried to stop and looked like it could have been a knock-on, but I believe they've ruled it as backwards for the Argentines. Now Marcos Manera cuts back inwards. He is such a danger on attack. Palandini went for the offload. It's going to sit back up for the Pumas, who do try and shift it out wide. Beautifully shoveled on. Now Graziano one-on-one with Gregory, who manages to pull him down, offload back, and it's a try for Argentina off of their bench. It is Morales who has scored it with just the minute remaining, only his second try of his career. And it may be one of the most important for Argentina in this competition. They will take the lead. I can do Black Cats vs South Africa. It's at 8 a.m. I think it overlaps with a Six Nations game though. Or there's something on at that same time. I've actually looked at it and I realised that there is a bit of an overlap for it. What do you think about Glasgow's win? If the Harls and Edinburgh wins, Glasgow will be top of the table by a lot, says Kahu. Yeah, I think that Glasgow had a very solid win up against Munster. Definitely compared to that other game that took place with it being a draw. But the kick has been struck. Argentina have missed. We are in a 1-point thriller, ladies and gentlemen, with it ticking over towards the 14-minute mark. Every single game in the men's side of things, except for France versus Australia, has been separated by less than 7 points in the URC tonight. 2 South African derbies, Lions versus Bulls and Sharks versus Stormers. We are covering both of them on the channel. And now breaking the line for New Zealand, Lasanga. He's got the base. He's broken away, and New Zealand, just like they have up against many sides, will steal the victory right at the end of the contest. Argentina caught napping for about 3 seconds, and it is all it took for the Kiwis to be able to get that last-minute try between the posts as well. 6 points will be the difference, so Argentina get another bonus point, which theoretically still puts them in a spot to be able to win their next game and go through to the semi-finals, but they will have to beat the French to be able to do so. And Australia would have to beat New Zealand. So a couple interesting games still to come in this group. Nothing is confirmed. In fact, not many sides are safe. I'd say maybe just the French at this point in time are the safe side. And we have got there, what do you think about Justo Picardo? He was one who made last try to Scotland in the last minute. Here's Laika Gonzalez. Says Romero. Yeah, I just think at the moment there's so much talent coming out of Argentina. And like whether it's in Union or the Sevens, I think that they're just going to get stronger. But what we better do is go over to the next live stream, ladies and gentlemen. That will be the one between Fiji and also Spain. So be sure to tune in for that. But yeah, I will see you all in about half a minute's time for the next stream.